Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's our distinct honor and privilege to be speaking this morning with Glenn Schiff Bauer, who is the co-chair of the Next Generation Water Summit. Hey, Glenn, how you doing?
Good, Esteban. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me on and helping us get the word out about this event.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Now, I understand that the Next Generation Water Summit is something that we have been having here in Santa Fe, where many thought leaders from around the world have been able to come to Santa Fe to talk about very important topics. This year, obviously different. It's a virtual Next Generation Water Summit. Tell us a little bit about the summit, its history, its purpose, its mission, and then we'll go over what the program is going to be, the virtual program, and what it's going to be like this year. But by the way, if you're from Santa Fe and you're a city resident or a county resident, this is free for you. So tune in and listen. But Glenn, tell us all about the Next Generation Water Summit.
Well, this is going to be our fourth water summit and our first one that is going to be held virtually, which is an experience in and of itself. But it has a lot of advantages. We got started with the first water summit when my organization, the Green Chamber of Commerce, the Santa Fe Area Home Builders, and the City of Santa Fe's Water Conservation Division were talking about, what's the future going to look like in Santa Fe and New Mexico and the Southwest, and any sort of economic development or any sort of growth issues all revolve around water. And at that time, Santa Fe, under the leadership of Christine Chavez, had attained the lowest capital water gallons per person water use in the country. And so people were paying attention to Santa Fe. And so we thought that would be a great attraction for people who in the water business to come to Santa Fe and learn about those things. And as it grew, you found out that somebody in Tucson is doing this and somebody in El Paso is doing this, and it just became a magnet for people that are true water wonks and water professionals. We've had two speakers that have won Nobel Prizes come and speak to this group. And we've had people that are at the top of their game in the water industry, from the private sector to municipalities and climate change. The first one, we didn't really touch on climate change, but you can't talk about water and not talk about climate change. And so we've had some all-star climate change speakers, and this year is certainly not an exception, with Katharine Hayhoe being our opening keynote.
Well, fantastic. We want to remind our listening audience and those that are viewing that the conference, the virtual conference, is June 2nd through June 4th. And again, this is free for City of Santa Fe and Santa Fe County residents. We're visiting with Glenn Schiff Bauer, who's the co-chair of the Next Generation Water Summit. And Glenn, why don't we this whole virtual experience that we're talking about, why don't we take a quick look at that? So when folks go to nextgenerationwatersummit.com and they log in and they're able to get their credentials, they'll see something like this, which is pretty cool, because we have here a really nice photo of our Santa Fe Community Convention Center with this Enter Here button. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh, Glenn?
I was blown away with what they've been able to do with our photos and just making it feel like you are in Santa Fe. Anyway.
So here we are on a landing page. We, for all intents and purposes, we registered, we got our registration credentials, we logged in, we're here at the landing site, and if I press this button, Enter Here, we are taken to a virtual conference hall that we see an auditorium, an information desk, an exhibit hall. And Glenn, look at the window here. We have, is this, what photo is this? Is this of Tasuki, or What hills are these?
Those are the sangres.
The sangres.
We weren't using the convention center this year, so we tried to have as many of their photos, like the enter here and some of the photos from their website, to make people feel like they're looking out a window and looking up towards the ski basin.
This is really cool. So we're in the virtual conference right now, and if I want to go find out who is talking and who's speaking, where do I go?
Well, you can go to a couple of different places. You can go to the info booth.
Okay. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Well, I just went to the info booth,
right.
And look at that. That's pretty cool.
It really is. So you get all kinds of information, and any graphic that's within this conference on your screen is a link to something. So
Okay.
the two little signs that are next to the info desk that say Santa Fe will take you to a video about why you should visit Santa Fe next year or this year, but you should.
Look at that! Isn't that cool? Here, let's take a list of that.
Different. Because no two of us are identical, and some may never find theirs. But for those who search for their
Wow! So this is a nice little plug for Santa Fe.
Yep.
So you click on want to learn all about Santa Fe, know about our town. There's a wonderful Santa Fe, the city different video right there. Pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah, it's really something. And if you go back out into the lobby now.
Okay, let me go back out of the lobby. And I'll go back. There we go.
Again, so you see any of the signage that is there will take you to that sponsor's either link, website, YouTube channel, the booth that we have in the exhibit hall. Save Water Santa Fe, who is our key sponsor, along with Santa Fe County, which is why residents of Santa Fe get to come for free. They got their really great spot there for their logo.
So I just came into I just take a look. I went to the auditorium here, and it says Next Generation Water Summit. Click here and take a look at that. We can see the entire lineup. On June 2nd, we see the keynote from Katharine Hayhoe. What a big name she is in
She's
this
amazing.
profession.
The first time I tried to get her to the summit, and the schedules just didn't work out, but you would Google Katharine Hayhoe, and the first thing that would pop up would be a photo of her at a climate conference on stage with Leonardo DiCaprio and President Obama. And since that time, she has won the UN Climate Champion Award and is now the chief scientist for the Nature Conservancy worldwide, as well as being a professor at Texas Tech.
And we have, she's the keynote address on Wednesday morning. Then we segue on the first day on June 2nd into drought, growth, and water conservation. There's a couple of speakers there. Living on 50 liters per day, that feels like 500. And does water limit growth in the West? And so very fascinating conversations taking place on Wednesday with this lineup of people.
And certainly relevant to things that are happening in our community, which we think will be of interest to the people that are concerned about water and growth, and how do you manage that. One of the advantages of having a virtual conference that I might also add is that the speaker that's talking about 50 liters, Franz, will be giving his presentation from Germany. So he didn't have to pay any travel costs. He's just going to be there, and he's like vice president at Procter & Gamble. So we've been able to really make a name for the Water Summit and attract people that want to speak and talk about these things.
Great. And now there is on the second day, June 3rd, we have Building in a Time of Drought. Kim Shanahan here in Santa Fe. is going to be a panelist there. And Daryl McMaster, Mike Klein is coming back. That's great to see. Why your shower feels wimpy and what to do about it. WERS and Santa Fe water savings, and National Green Building Standard water ratings and what gives. WERS, talk about that was a term that I had first heard at the first Next Generation Water Summit. But for our listening audience that might not be familiar, what is WERS?
Well, WERS was taken from HERS, which was the home energy rating system, and WERS is a water system based on the same thing. So that, and it was developed here in Santa Fe by a bunch of the Santa Fe area home builders folks and a lot of the water experts. So just like HERS, you have to build to meet a certain standard in your energy efficiency. You have to do that, and that's now part of the code in Santa Fe and is gaining traction thanks to Mike Klein and Doug Blissard and Kim Shanahan nationwide, where these things are being adopted as codes in different municipalities to protect water and make sure that the buildings that are being built now are making sure there's an eye towards water efficiency.
This is great. Okay, and then we take a look at Thursday's, on the 4th, June 4th, the lineup on June 4th. There's a state legislator. The keynote's going to be given by Melanie Stansberry. And then we see our very own Christine Chavez, water conservation manager for the city of Santa Fe, moderating low-income conservation programs, public-private financing alternatives, and in the closing panel, we got the organizing committee. And I know you and Christine and Mike and Doug Blissard, kind of like an all-star lineup when it comes to water conservation.
Well, there are 3 all-stars on there for sure.
Well, I'm really, really amazed at this technology, Glenn, on what can be done at this virtual conference. And again, amazing. It is free, right? Free for City of Santa Fe residents and Santa Fe County residents. So why not take advantage of that?
Yeah, the thing about it is if you go to the landing page, which is at nextgenerationwatersummit.com, and that's where you would register. This conference is going to live for another 60 days. So if you don't catch Katharine Hayhoe on the opening day, but you have registered, you'll be able to go back and listen to that when it's more convenient for you. And, there's also the exhibit hall where we have some of the vendors that have this water technology. The Sierra Club, Taos Ski Valley, which is, a real guardian of water. They're the only ski area that is a benefit corporation in the world because of their water mission. And there's going to be a lot to see, plus the community activities on June 5th and 6th that you'll see on the agenda.
Why don't we take another look at the virtual conference and how it's set up, and let's take a look at the exhibit hall, because I know that whenever I go to a conference, seeing exhibitors is a big deal, and we're taking a look at that right now, where there is a virtual exhibit hall. You have the exhibitors index of who's there, and take a look at that. And again, look outside the window here, and the beautiful vistas of Santa Fe and our sunset.
That's our sunset. Yes, if you scroll to the right on those booths, we've got so far 19 booths. The community college, wow. And the city of Lane Community College. We have our own. We have the Green Chamber. We have the EPA. Again, Taos Ski Valley. And again, each of those graphics, whether it's a photo in the Taos Ski Valley or their logo and sign, those are all clickable links. So when you hit those, you'll be taken to a video or a website talking about some of those things. And some of our exhibitors are going to have Zoom capabilities. So they'll have a Zoom link. So if you want to talk to somebody from, say, the EPA, and you click on the booth, you get a link that will take you, so you have an in-person conversation just like you would at a trade show.
Oh, look at that. EPA WaterSense about us. Well, when you click on the about, it opens up in another window. I'll need to take us there, but you're able to kind of see what is there. So that's a really good thing. Well, there's a lot of exhibitors here, Glenn, and those folks that are paying, that are out of the city or out of the county areas, are really going to get their money's worth. And city residents and Santa Fe County residents that get to go for free really are going to get a lot of value out of attending the conference.
Exactly. I think we're charging less than we have in the past, but it's because we don't have the same expenses that we normally have, and people don't have to travel that want to watch it from out of state, but then they have to pay a little bit so we can keep doing this.
Well, again, we want to encourage our listening audience to go to nextgenerationwatersummit.com. You can sign up today, right now, to be able to attend the conference. The virtual conference is June 2nd through June 4th, and it's free for City of Santa Fe residents and Santa Fe County residents. Glenn, I understand that there is also an opportunity to tour rain gardens in our community, like in person.
Exactly. The only in-person events we'll have are on Saturday the 5th, which will be the rain garden tour at one off-site place and also at the city water conservation office. And then on Sunday is Pollinator Day at the rail yard, and there's information on the website about that.
Great. Well, again, folks, head on over to nextgenerationwatersummit.com. A great virtual conference here. Glenn, this is a new way of doing things, and I really like this virtual event. It makes it very convenient to attend. It makes it super informative, very accessible to the keynote speakers and to all of the sessions that are going to be taking place. And you could do it from the comfort of your home, from your office, even from your car, logging in with your mobile device. You could be anywhere.
You can. It's just a new technology that's, it's nothing like visiting Santa Fe. We will encourage people to come in the future to our conference, but there might be some components of this platform that we integrate as we go forward.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with our listening audience today and showing us the new virtual world of the Next Generation Water Summit.
My pleasure. Thank you.